Hello，嘿，大家好，欢迎大家看今天的雅思口语直播。所以在每一个直播，在前几分钟，来上课的人不多，所以我们一直要等几分钟，然后会有足够的人过来，然后我们可以开始学习英语，所以或者开始练习英语。所以我们在等其他人过来的时候，我要谈论我自己的中文。为什么要谈论自己的中文？因为我在这里在 CC Talk 和在我微信公众号 Learn with John 在其他地方发布了一些关于外语学习的课程和不同产品，全部你都可以在这里在那个小书包里看。然后也包括快速学会外语，一个教人如何在尽可能短的时间在他们所学的外语达到很高的级别。然后另外一个叫 Nine Vocabulary，然后那个课程的目的就是帮助人培养很高的词汇量，先培养一个很高的被动词汇量，然后一个很高的主动词汇量。所以这个跟我的中文有什么关系？我我一直有一点担心，因为我知道自己的中文不完美，然后自己的中文有一些就是有一些弱点，特别是发音，我的发音不是特别准，所以我一直有一点害怕上我课程的学生，关注我的学生，或者比如说在哔哩哔哩看到我视频的学生，会觉得 OK， 如果 OK 那个人约翰，他的确很帅气啊，开玩笑，他们会觉得 OK， 那个人约翰他中文说的不错，他好像了解外语学习那个过程，但是如果我上他的课程，我的外语也许只会达到他的那个级别，就是他中文的那个级别，不会达到很完美的，就是9分的，就是雅思9分的级别。然后我要在今天的直播就解释为什么你不用担心那个。原因就是我在学习中文的时候，不怎么用我现在推荐的方法。我开始学习中文的时候就是10年前，那个时候我一点都不了解外语学习，所以我在前几年用的方法都不是特别好。然后就是我基本上花费4到5年，就是专门学习中文。然后就在最后的1-2年，我开始用类似 Anki 和其他的我现在推荐的学习方法。所以那就是一个我的中文不太完美的原因。我觉得我目前的中文，如果有一个像雅思一样的中文考试，我觉得我会拿到也许口语7分或者7.5分，但是不会拿到肯定不会拿到9分，应该不会拿到8分，也许7分或者7.5分。所以，但是另外一个我中文水平不太高的原因，就是我学了中文的时候，也开始学习西班牙语，然后我以后也学了法语、印度尼西亚语，今年也学日语，所以我学了很多语言。然后，如果你想在英语或者如果你想今天的直播，你应该就是针对英语，但是其他语言一样，如果你想在英语或者其他语言达到一个超级高的级别，你不应该学习很多语言，你应该先专心学习哪一门语言，直到你拿到那个你所想达到的那个级别。然后我发布的那些课程肯定会帮助你达到一个很高的级别。肯定你可以在英语或者在任何其他外语绝对可以超出我现在的中文水平。我的中文我觉得，因为最近我没有足够的时间学习中文，因为我每天都学习日语，然后我不想同时做2件事情，但是我也许2-3年之后，也许3年之后，我对我日语水平满意以后，也许会再来专心学习中文，然后希望可以 再提高我的中文，达到一个更接近母语人的级别。OK， 但是那是我的一些事情，所以应该开始帮助你们，准备你们的雅思和练习英语。所以现在要15个人，所以应该大概就可以开始了。OK， 所以开始 Part 1之前，我要做我们今天的第一个英语挑战。所以在每一个直播，我们先练习雅思口语考试 Part 1，然后 Part 2，然后 Part 3，然后开始每一个 Part 之前，我们做一个小的挑战。然后今天的挑战就是这个，就是 Which of these are correct English expressions？ 然后有7个不同的英语表达，然后在那7个表达，在那7个表述中，只有几个是正确的，然后还有几个是不正确的。所以你们要做的就是找出在那7个英语表达中，哪一些在那7个中哪一些是正确的。Okay, let me give you guys a minute, maybe 2 minutes to think about this. So our expressions are to text somebody. Number 2, she doesn't like texting. Number 3, to send a short message. Number 4, to reply to a text. Number 5, he received my text. He received my message. Number 6, I gave a call to him. And number 7, I chit-chatted to him on the phone. So some of those are correct. Some of those are good, natural English expressions. Some of those are incorrect. They are wrong English expressions. 所以你们要做的就是看那7个英语表达，然后考虑一下哪一些是正确的，哪一些是正确的，你自己可以用的，或者任何人可以用的英语，哪一些是不正确的。OK， 还没有人回答。OK， 已经有第一个回答，一个人回答。OK， 所以根据 Chris， 他觉得 to text somebody is correct. He thinks she doesn't like texting is correct. He thinks to send a short message is correct. And he thinks he received my message is correct. So no, sorry Chris. 所以 Chris 有一些对的，还有一些不太对的。不好意思。还有人吗 ？Chris 就是我们第一个回答。OK， 还有另外一个人，他觉得to text someone is correct. She doesn't like texting is correct. He received my message is correct. And I chit-chatted to him on the phone is correct. OK， 然后还有一个人觉得只有2个是对的，他觉得 to reply to a text is correct. And I chit-chatted to him on the phone is correct. 所以有OK， 有一些不同的回答。然后现在有 Don 就是第4个人回答，他觉得第2个，就是 she doesn't like texting is correct. 然后OK， Don 觉得有5个正确的，所以他觉得she doesn't like texting is correct. To send a message is correct. To reply to a text is correct. He received my message is correct, and I gave a call to him is correct. 然后Mia 觉得所以 Mia 觉得只有一个是错的 ，Mia 觉得有6个正确的。所以还没有任何人正确的回答，所以每个人都要出，所以我还给大家10秒钟的时间。然后 OK， 还有另外一个学生，他觉得1、2、3、5 and 6 are correct， 所以然后 Mia 再回答，所以 OK， 时间到了。OK， 没有人，好像没有人回答对。Don 又回答了。他说 2, 3, 4, 6. No, sorry, Don. Okay, so the correct ones. So in total, there are four correct expressions in those. And let me paste the expressions again, so everybody can see them. So there are the 7 expressions. There are 4 of these which are correct. There are 3 of these which are incorrect. So let's go through them. To text somebody. Correct. That is correct. That is a correct expression. To text somebody. So, for example, I texted my friend to tell him I would be late. To text somebody, that is correct. It means fagdvanshin. Garen fagdvanshin. Number 2, she doesn't like texting. She doesn't like texting. Correct. A correct expression. Number 2 is correct. She doesn't like texting. So texting is just from the verb to text. So I like texting. Do you like texting? I don't like texting. 意思就是那个表达的意思就是他不喜欢收发短信。Number 3, to send a short message. To send a short message. Not correct. This one is wrong. So this one is, I hear this one a lot because a lot of people directly translate 发短信 or 发短消息 into, they translate 短消息 into a short message. And no, there is no such thing as a short message in English. It's a text message, just a text message or a text, or even we could say a message, but it's not a short message. So number 3 is wrong. Number 4, to reply to a text. Correct. This one is correct. Number 4 is correct. So to reply to a text, 就是回答一个短信. So that one is correct. So we've got 1 is correct, 2 is correct, 4 is correct, and number 5 is correct. Number 5 is correct. So that's the 4th one that's correct. He received my message. 意思就是他收到我的消息. So he received my message, same as he got my message. Same. So 5 is correct also. Number 6, I gave a call to him. Not correct. That one is not correct. So we cannot say I gave a call to him. We can, the grammar is not quite right there. So we could say I gave him a call, but we cannot say I gave a call to him. And that is not correct. So, and then the last one, number 7, I chit-chatted to him on the phone. Not correct. Number 7, not correct either. And so we can't, we don't really say chit-chat to somebody. You can say to chat to somebody. I chatted to someone. To chat to someone. But recently, I've been hearing a lot of students try to use the phrase chit-chat, and they're using it incorrectly. So a chit-chat is usually a noun. If you look in the dictionary, you'll see that it can be a verb as well, but it's rarely used as a verb. It's usually a noun, and it's not very often used. It's not used very often, even as a noun. So the better word to learn is chat. To chat, not to chit-chat, just to chat, because native speakers use the word chat a lot. We don't often use the word chit-chat. So here in number 7, we could say, I chatted to him on the phone. That would be correct. I chatted to him on the phone, but not I chit-chatted to him on the phone. 所以正确的回答就是，或者正确的表述就是第一个 to text someone， 第二个 she doesn't like texting， 第四个to reply to a text， 然后第五个he received my message， 都是正确的，其他的是错的。Okay, so nobody correctly answered this, so I'm going to leave it open. So for our part 1, we're going to start practicing part 1 now. So for anybody who wants to enter part 1, you can just put up your hand now, and I'm going to randomly select somebody to answer our part 1 questions today. And our part 1 questions today are all about this topic. They're all about texting. 所以我们马上就要开始练习雅思 part 1， 口语 part 1。然后今天的话题就是关于收发短信。所以任何想回答这些问题的人就可以现在举手一下。OK， 现在只有3个人，没有其他人吗？5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's get these 3 people. So right, our topic is texting, and I'm going to start with Mia. Okay, hello Mia.
Hi, John. Can you hear me?
Hi. I can hear you clearly. Yeah. Okay. So, Mia, some questions for you about texting, sending text messages. Do you like texting?
Yeah. I am a texter. I often text with my friends and my parents because I think it is a convenient way for us to have a communication, and I think text somebody is a best way to not borrow others, because when sometimes you you call somebody, it may be borrow somebody when they have some important things to do.
Thank you. Do you prefer sending or receiving text messages?
Actually, I like receiving messages because because if you sending messages, you need to organize your language and your words, and you need to make sure the message you send is correct, and the receiver can understand what you said. So I think it is a little troublesome for me to do it, and I don't like sending messages. I like receiving messages. Yeah.
Have you ever received a confusing text message?
I don't think I have received any confusing messages in my life. Because when somebody send me a message, they often give me a clear structure about what they say, and I can understand what they say. So I don't think I received any confusing message because they know people around me know what I am, and they know if I received any confusing message, I will not reply to them. So they can't not. Yeah.
Thank you. In what circumstances is making a phone call better than sending a text message?
I think when something when some urgent things happened, we need to make a phone call because these things are very important, and we need to let somebody know about it. So at this time we need to make a phone call to him or her, and they can know what happened, and they can deal with some things related to themselves immediately.
Thank you. Okay. Thanks. All right. Okay. Thanks, Mia. Okay. Pretty good. Well done. So a good level of fluency there, Mia. You produced a lot of language in your answers, and especially in your third answer and your fourth answer, you produced some good sentences, and you didn't have many mistakes in your third and fourth answers. And also you had some good expressions and some good sentences. So things like you have to organize your language. You said when you send text message, you have to organize your language. Okay, so that was a good expression. So basically it just means 说话发一个短信之前你要安排你要说的话 basically. So that was good. Another good expression, troublesome. You used the word troublesome very well. Well done. Another good sentence, you said, they know that if I receive a confusing text message, I will not reply to them. Excellent. Very good. You controlled your grammar very well there. I'm going to write that sentence for everyone because it's a good sentence. They know that if I receive a confusing text message, I will not reply to them. Okay, very good. A lot of people there would make the mistake and say, I will not reply them, but you said it correctly, I will not reply to them. So well done. So yeah, a lot of good stuff in your answers, Mia. So some of the corrections, let's see, in your first answer you said, to have a communication. So it's not, we can't say to have a communication with someone.
Yeah, maybe I should say we could have a little chat. Oh, we could have a chat. Yeah. You just said chit chat is a noun.
Yeah, okay, but okay， 所以我刚刚说了是 chit chat 是一个名词，但是我也说了我们母语人很少用 chit chat， 所以我们用的就是 chat，OK， 不管是动词还是名词，我们用的比较多就是 chat， 然后但是有没有其他学生知道更好的就是表达 联系别人，联系一个朋友，联系一个人，如何用英语表达那个意思？因为我们不可以说 to have a communication。有一个人觉得是 contact with others， no， 那个不对，我们不可以说 contact with others。Anna, yes, contact someone, that's okay. You could say communicate with someone, so you can't say to have a communication, but you can say communicate with someone, or you can also say contact someone. That would be okay as well. Then somebody saying keep in touch with, maybe, but that's kind of different. Keep in touch with 就是保持联系，在长的时段内保持联系，所以意思不太一样。Sophia says communicate with someone. Yes, Sophia. Yes, that's good. That's good. We can say communicate with someone. Okay. And then one more thing, Mia. So you said, I think you said you were talking about texting, and you said that you might not want to, and you said to borrow others, and something about borrowing others.
Yeah.
So here you're not borrow, you're mixing it up with another word.
Trouble.
Okay, good. Yeah, so not trouble someone. That's good. Yeah, you could say not trouble someone, but that's not the word you were trying to say. I think Julia knows what you were trying to say. I think you're trying to say bother.
Bother. Okay.
Yeah, to bother versus to borrow. So do you remember now what does to borrow mean? Borrow mean?
Oh, borrow is 借。
Yeah, exactly. So
借某东西，然后 bother 是打扰。Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So you just got those two words mixed up a little bit. So yeah, that would be okay. That's it for you, Mia. Thank you. Good job. Cool. Okay. Next, I'm going to go to let's go to Chris next.
Hi, John.
Hello, Chris. Hi. Okay, Chris. So the same questions for you. I'm going to paste the questions into the chat box. There they are. Okay. So Chris, number 1, do you like texting?
I do like texting. I text with my friends quite often, almost every day. I text them on WeChat or WhatsApp because I think texting is an easier way to communicate rather than calling somebody.
Mm-hmm. Do you prefer sending or receiving text messages?
Actually, I don't really have a preference. I like doing both, but what I really dislike is receiving a phone call because I think I'm kind of having a phone phobia, so I'd get really scared when my phone rings.
Okay. Have you ever received a confusing text message?
Yes, I do receive confusing messages quite often from my friends from England. So he likes sending me slangs and shortened words in English, and that's really confusing. For example, last time he sent me something like, "You are taking the piss," and I was confused, and I asked him to explain, but he refused.
Okay. And in what circumstances is making a phone call better than sending a text message?
I think when something is in a hurry and you need to contact somebody for a decision, then you'd better make a phone call because you'll get the answer quickly and immediately.
Why?
Well, because if you text somebody, he or she might reply you after 1 or 2 hours. But if you call him directly, then when he picks up the call, then he could just discuss with you and give you a quick response.
Thank you. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Chris. All right, pretty good overall, really good. So your first answer was very good, very natural. I didn't notice any mistakes in your first answer, and then the rest of them were also good. There were a couple of little mistakes in each of them, but in general, you produced a lot of good language and you sounded pretty natural. I think you could still give a bit more information. You could still extend your answers a little bit more, and that would be better. Like especially the last one, you just gave about 2 sentences and then you stopped. So it would be better to keep talking a little bit, wait until the examiner stops you, wait until the examiner says thank you. A bit like Mia in the last student. So Mia did a very good job of keeping talking until I stopped her and until I moved on to the next question. But generally, the language you produced was really good. Like in your first answer, or I think, sorry, it was your second answer actually. The question was, do you prefer sending or receiving text messages? You had a good expression. You said, I don't really have a preference. Very good expression. I don't really have a preference. So this is a good expression for everybody to learn. If you have to ask, or sorry, if you have to answer a question, like 你喜欢 A 还是 B， 然后你想说我不在乎都可以。That could be like, you could say, I don't really have a preference, or I don't have a preference. That's a good way to respond, and you use that well. Let's see. So then a couple of corrections. You said, so a little bit of a grammar problem here. You said, I'm kind of having a phone phobia. I'm kind of having a phone phobia. So phobia, that's a good word. You use that word, or you use it correctly. Phobia, it means like a fear of something. But you said, I'm kind of having a phone phobia. So that's not correct grammar. Do you want to try and arrange that sentence again?
Let me see. I kind of have a phone phobia.
Exactly. I have a phobia. I have a phone phobia. I kind of have a phone phobia. That would be right. Good. Okay. Then in the third answer, so the third question was about a confusing text message, and you gave a good answer. Your answer made sense. You had some good vocabulary in your answer. There's just a couple of little mistakes. So one, the word slang, that is uncountable. So he doesn't send you slangs. He sends you slang. So slang.
Okay.
And slang is basically the you. But so that was one, and then just the expression. So you use the expression "taking the piss," and so it's good, but your pronunciation of "piss" wasn't quite right. So what you said sounded like taking the piece. So it should be taking the piss. Taking the piss.
Taking the piss.
Yeah, taking the piss. And try and say it all together. It's not like, don't think of it as three separate words. Taking the piss. You've got to put them all together. Taking the piss, and almost as though it's one word. Yeah. Okay. And now the little problem. So taking the piss just means basically 开玩笑 or 嘲笑别人. But the problem for IELTS is that it's bad language. It's 脏话. So probably in IELTS, it's okay. Actually, the way you used it is okay. Because you said what he sent you in a message. But I'm just telling for the rest of the students that in general, it's probably better not to use it in IELTS, and probably better not to use swear words in IELTS, because some examiners are very conservative and they might not like it. I don't care. I like bad language, but some people don't like it. Okay. Let's see. And then the last answer. So you said he or she might. So that's good. So you were talking about somebody and you used he or she. So that's good. You didn't just say he or you didn't just say she. You said he or she. So that's good. But you said might reply you after. He or she might reply you after. So you forgot one word. You forgot a word. Any idea what word? Exactly. Reply to you. Yeah. Good. Okay. Okay. So that was it, Chris. Good job overall. Well done. Thank you. And I'm going to get one more student for this part one. So we've got 6 students waiting, and so I'm going to choose. I'm going to go for Don. Hello, Don.
Hello.
Hi. Okay, Don. All right. So the same questions for you, all about texting.
Okay.
Do you like texting?
Sometimes I like texting, especially when I have some information to send to my friends. I would like to just directly text to my friends, and because it can send the message silently.
Okay. Do you prefer sending or receiving text messages?
I prefer receiving text messages because by receiving text messages, I can just read the message in no matter no matter I was in public or in a classroom or in something somewhere else. But and the receiving message could be the message could be read at any time at any environment. So I prefer receiving text message. But by sending message, I need to type. So I don't like to type too much.
Okay. Have you ever received a confusing text message?
Sometimes I remember that I had received the confusing text message. For example, someone said he will fetch me some particular time. At that moment, I don't know. He just mean to pick me up to his car to send me a drive. He mean by fetch, because usually I think is to fetch means to fetch something, to fetch some to let the dog fetch something. Because before that moment, I never say somebody using to fetch in that circumstances.
Okay. In what circumstances is making a phone call better than sending a text message?
In my opinion, I reckon that in some urgent circumstances, like if the house was on fire, or if you are in a distress, it's way much better to directly make a phone call rather than sending a message, because that time is quite an important moment. It's about people. It's about not life to live or death, and you should call for rescue immediately. So
thank you. Okay, thanks, Don. All right, pretty good job, Don. So you seem to have a pretty good vocabulary, and you generally were able to find the words to explain what you meant, and you were organizing your sentences pretty well. So most of your sentences had maybe one mistake, but there weren't any sentences that had lots of mistakes. So a lot of sentences with maybe a little mistake, but there weren't any sentences that were so disorganized that I couldn't understand them. And so overall, pretty good. But there were a few important things that need to be corrected. So in your first one, so this is a very common mistake, Don. If you've been in these classes before, you'll have heard me talk about this mistake before many times. So I wonder if you can find it. So in the first one you said, let's see, what was it? Let's see. I think it was just, oh yeah, I'm trying to read my own writing, and my own writing isn't very clear here, so I'm having trouble reading. I think you said, I would like to just, I think it was, I would like to just send text to my friends, or something like that. I would like to just send text to my friends. She said, I would like to just send text to my friends. Any idea what the problem is there?
I would like to send. I would like to text to my friend directly.
And so the problem, no, that's not the problem. The problem is, so the problem is, I would like, because here you were talking. So the question was, do you like texting? Do you like texting? So in answer to that question, we shouldn't use I would like. We shouldn't use I would like. We should just use I like. So it should be just I like to send text to my friends, or I like to text my friends. So I've talked about this many times in this class. I don't want to bore the other students, but I wonder if you know, Don, what are the differences between I like something and I would like something, or I like to do something and I would like to do something? Any idea what the difference is there?
I like something. I'm fond of something. I would like to means I want to do something.
Good. Yeah. Exactly. So here in this instance, you should have said I like to text my friends. Okay. Let's see. In the second one, was another kind of common mistake. So you said, no matter I was in public or in a classroom. No matter I was in public or in a classroom. So you're missing a word there. You forgot one word that you need there. Any idea what the word is?
Public environment.
No, to be in public is okay. That's okay. It's not that.
In a classroom.
You said in a classroom. You said that. So that wasn't the problem. So again, I wonder if there's anyone. I'm gonna write this for everybody, right? No matter I was, and it should be I am, not I was. So no matter I am in public or in a classroom. So I think we all or most of us can know what he means here, but he's forgot one word. Does anybody know? And a few people are guessing no matter when. So no, it's not no matter when, but he is missing a word here somewhere. It's not no matter I am. It's no matter. There's another word that goes with no matter, and most people usually forget it. And it's the word whether, no matter whether. So it should be no matter whether I am in public or in a classroom. Not just no matter I am in public, but no matter whether I am in public or in a classroom. Okay. Right, and let's see. And then the last thing, just in your third answer. So the third answer was about a confusing, have you ever received a confusing text message? You talked about receiving a message where somebody used the word fetch and you didn't quite understand that usage of the word fetch. So I understood the story. It's just that your explanation of the story wasn't very fluent. So you had a lot of trouble explaining the story. So first of all, like, where was this? Where was this? Was this in Australia or where were you when this happened?
In Malaysia.
In Malaysia. Okay, very good. Right. So it'd be good to say that first, because that would explain why somebody is texting you why your friend is texting you in English. Say it right. I was in Malaysia.
They use this expression to mean it will to drive you somewhere.
Yeah, sure, and that's okay. That's okay. It's just you didn't understand it. So, and then you just didn't explain the story very well. So to explain that story, I think it would be better to say something like, yes, I did receive a confusing text message when I was in Malaysia, and one of my friends texted me in English, and he said he was going to come and fetch me, and I didn't understand that to fetch someone can mean to pick someone up in a car. So I was confused by that text message. So if you could explain it like that, then it would be more clear. It took you a lot of time to kind of get your thoughts together and to explain your answer there. Okay. All right, but overall, pretty good job done. So good answers to your first question, second question, and fourth question. All right, thank you. You're welcome. Okay, right. So let's move on a little bit, and let's go on to our second challenge of the day. So we're going to go into part 2, but before we go into part 2, we're going to do another challenge. And our second challenge is a translation challenge. Okay, so here we've got 2 sentences, and you need to translate both of these sentences into English. So, actually 3 sentences, but anyway, divided into 2 parts, and you've got to translate all these sentences into English. So first one, 这部电影喜剧电影很有趣，让人笑声不断。And then the second one, 看爱情片让我感到很快乐. Okay, so should be pretty simple sentences. Let's see how you can translate them into English. I'm going to give you guys about a minute to think about this, and as quickly as you can. Start sending your answers as quickly as you can. 已经有几个人回答 OK 已经有几个人回答所以我们看一下不同人的反应 So Don 就是第一个回答的 So Don 说 The comedy movie is really funny which keeps you laughing and then watching romance movies makes me happy okay so pretty close Don not exactly right but pretty close and the comedy movie is very interesting it makes me keep laughing Chris the comedy film was quite amusing it kept people laughing and then watching romance films makes me happy pretty good job Chris pretty good job and then Sophia the comedy is so funny that makes the audiences burst into laughter is consistent. A few mistakes there, Sophia. So laughter is uncountable, and yeah, and not consistently either. And then James, the comedy is so funny that it brings people into laughter. And no, we can't bring people into laughter. Oh, sorry. And watching romantic movies makes me happy. That's our second one. Okay, pretty good. And then we've got another student. It's a funny movie. It's a funny movie which makes people laughing continuously. Almost, but you can't make people laughing. And the grammar is slightly wrong there. We've got another one. The interesting comedy makes people laugh consecutively. Nope, a lot of problems there. And then love movies. Nope, give me lots of happiness. Not so a few problems there. Okay, I'm going to give you guys 10 more seconds. Anybody else who's thinking about this, 10 seconds more to try these translations. So you mean how 10秒钟 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. OK， 已经有一个人正确的反应，我看一下是谁，就是，excuse me， 所以第一个回答正确的人，翻译正确的人就是 Chris。The comedy film was quite amusing. It kept people laughing. 然后第二个 Watching romance films makes me happy. Good job, Chris. Well done. Absolutely correct translation as far as I can see. So let's talk about some of the problems, some of the incorrect translations. So the first one, 那个这部喜剧电影很有趣. So because we know it's a 喜剧电影, so we know it's a comedy movie. So then that 有趣 is not interesting. That 有趣 has to be funny, not interesting, but funny. So that's one thing that people are confused about. So if you're talking about 逗人笑，逗人哈哈大笑的，或者很幽默，就是很滑稽的某一个东西，那个东西就是funny, not interesting, but funny. 然后 A 的第二句话，Chris 翻译成it kept people laughing. Very good, Chris. Very good, exactly. So something like a movie keeps people laughing, or so there's a few ways you could translate that. So 让人笑得不断. So Chris translated very well. It kept people laughing, or you could also say you could say it made everybody laugh. It made everybody laugh, or people laughed through the whole movie. I'll write that one for everybody. And that would be a good translation as well. So people laughed through the whole movie. So there's a few ways you could say this, but Chris's way is pretty good. It kept people laughing. And then B, the second translation. So the first problem is, so I Ching Pian, so that can be romance movies or romantic movies. Either of those would be good. Romance movies or romantic movies. Not love movies. There's no such thing as love movies in English. It's just romance movies or romantic movies. And then 让我感到很快乐. That's it. Watching romance movies makes me happy, or makes me feel happy. Okay. But okay. So right. So the winner of the challenge is Chris. So well done, Chris. And Chris's translation was watching romance films makes me happy. Very good. Okay. The reason I did this translation, actually, I'll tell you the reason I did this challenge in a moment. But first, I want to remind you guys about a couple of things that you can do if you come and visit my my WeChat account， 所以我的微信公众号就是 Learn with John。然后如果你过来关注我的微信公众号，你每个礼拜都可以看一个我发布的关于外语学习的文章，有很多关于雅思和如何有效的准备雅思的文章，每个礼拜都有一个新的，所以人人都应该关注我微信公众号 Learn with John。然后关注以后，你也可以来参加我每个礼拜举行的帮人准备雅思口语的小组课，所以每个礼拜都有小组课。接下来的几个礼拜已经订满了，但是从12月中旬好像有一些空位，我不一定，但是如果你关注我微信公众号，然后联系Lin，他会告诉你如何参加那个小组课。另外，也要帮人准备写作的一些课程，所以如果你关注微信，关注我 Learn with John 公众号，然后联系Lin，他会告诉你如何参加那些写作课程。最后，如果你不准备雅思，如果你只想就是从根本上提高你的英语，或者你想学习另外一门语言，我真的推荐你上我快速学会外语课程，你就可以在那个小书包里看快速学会外语课程会帮助你知道如何有效的学习一门外语，帮助你避免浪费你们的时间和你们的钱做没有效果的学习，或者用没有效果的学习方法，所以我也真的推荐那个课程。Okay, so let's go back to our IELTS practice and let's look at our part 2 for today. So the reason why I gave you that challenge with the 2 different translations was because of this part 2. So our part 2 today is describe a film you watched that made you laugh. Describe a film you watched that made you laugh. 我已经听了好多学生回答这个 part 2，然后我觉得1/2以上，也许2/3的学生都不提供一个合适的回答，他们都谈论一个让他们感到很快乐，或者让他们感到很开心，或者让他们很感动的一部电影，但是很多都不谈论一个让他们 laugh 的电影。所以如果你在雅思在口语考试拿到这个话题，你肯定要谈论一个喜剧电影，一个逗人笑的电影，逗人哈哈大笑的电影，就是一个很搞笑的很好笑的电影。所以然后你在你回答的过程中必须强调那个电影是很 funny 的，很 funny 就是很逗人的。所以那就是我做了这个我们今天做的第2个挑战，是因为很多人都不太理解 make someone laugh 那个意思，所以不要忘记 laugh 就是这个动作。OK， 所以那就是 laugh， 所以跟这个不一样，这个是 smile， 那个不是 laugh， 然后跟 happy like 快乐也不一样， so it's different. Laughing and smiling and being happy 基本上是3个不一样的概念，这个是关于 laughter and laughing. All right. So the first person to get the challenge right, our second challenge right, was Chris. So Chris, if you want to try and answer this one, you can put your hand up and you can answer it. But I'm going to give you guys a minute to prepare for this topic anyway. So so again, your topic is describe a film you watched that made you laugh, and everybody has 1 minute to prepare, including you, Chris. You've got 1 minute to prepare. So your time to prepare starts now. 所以你们都要1分钟准备的时间，然后准备的时间现在就开始。我还 Okay, time is up. Time is up. So we're going to go first to our competition winner, or our challenge winner, Chris. So you can be the first one to answer this one, Chris. Just turn on your microphone. So, Chris.
Hi.
Hello again. So, Chris, tell us about a film that you watched that made you laugh.
Okay, so when I was in high school at lunch break, we were allowed to watch films at every lunch break, and I watched a very amusing movie at one lunch break. It was the Back to Nature, I think, series 2. Basically, it's the story about a high school American boy traveling back to the past to meet up with his family. I don't remember it clearly, but I'm trying to recall it. So what happened in the film is that the boy, let's just call him Mike, he traveled back to the past and he met his mom, and he was passed out because during the time travel, the energy wave shocked him down. So his mom saved him, and his mom, and sorry, I'm a bit nervous. And so what's funny about this movie was that his mom saved him, and when she was waiting for him to wake up, she checked his clothing to try to identify who he is. So when Mike woke up, his mom said to him, "Oh, I'm happy."
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Okay. Thanks. Okay, Chris. So in some ways that was good. In some ways not so good. So there were some good things and some bad things. So it can be difficult describing a movie and describing all the things that happen in the movie. That's quite challenging. So I think for this question, it might be better to just talk about the situation you were in when you watched it. Like, let's say, so you said that you were in your high school, was it, or middle school? It doesn't matter, whatever. And were you watching it alone? Were you watching with other people? Was everybody laughing? Is it the funniest movie you've ever seen? And all that sort of stuff. Now, if you try and go into detail about what exactly happened in the movie and try and explain the jokes in the movie, that's going to be very difficult. Even for me in English, as an English native speaker, or I'm sure for you in your native language, trying to explain jokes that happen or funny things that happen in a movie to another person after the movie is very difficult. It doesn't seem funny at all when you just try and explain it. So I think it might be better to just kind of talk more about the situation when you watch the movie, explain that you thought it was really funny, and if you can, just kind of generally, vaguely explain maybe a couple of things that happen in the movie and a basic idea of the movie, and that would be enough. If you try to give a lot of details about the movie, it might be a little bit difficult. Now, let's see. So, but generally the language you used was pretty good. You spoke pretty well. It's just that you couldn't exactly get to the main point that you wanted to express. I think you were short of a few words that you needed to exactly express what you meant. So I think if you tried to approach the question another way, a different way, it might be easier for you to answer it. And you did have some good expressions in your answer. Like you said, I'm trying to recall it. Recall. So to recall something, it's a very good expression. It's kind of like to remember. So I'm trying to recall the movie. I'm trying to remember the movie. That was good. And then you didn't know the character's name in the movie. So you said, let's just call him Mike. Very good. Very good. That was a very good way to explain that. That's exactly what a native speaker would do if we didn't know, if there was somebody in a story that we were talking about and we couldn't remember the person's name or something. We would just say, let's just call him Jen, or let's just call her Mary, or whatever. So well done, you did that well. Then just a couple of little grammar mistakes. So there you were talking about the past, and sometimes you remember to put the verb into the past, sometimes you forgot. Like you said, I watch, it should be. So the past of watch is watched. Yeah, watched. Good, exactly. And then you said shock. The past of shock is
shocked.
Shocked, exactly. And another time you said he he was passed out. He was passed out. Oh well, actually, there is that expression. That is. But I think you said he was passed out on the journey or something like that. So it shouldn't be he was passed out on the journey. It should be just he passed out. He passed out on the journey. That would have been better. Okay. But still, some good things in your answer, Chris. Some good language. You sounded pretty natural. It's just that the film you were trying to explain was a little bit difficult for you. It was a bit maybe beyond your vocabulary to explain it in detail. So I think it would be better to just talk generally about your experience of watching that film. That would be a bit easier and it would lead to a better answer, I think. Okay. So that's it for you, Chris. Thank you. Okay, so now we've got a lot of people waiting. So I'm going to pick somebody at random. Let me choose a number from my phone. Okay, I'm going to go for number 7. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me? Hi, yeah, hello. What's your name?
My name is Carl.
Okay. Carl, okay. It's like C-A-R-L, Carl, like that, is it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, okay.
Topic for you. So tell us about a film that you watched that made you laugh.
Well, the film that made me laugh is definitely the Jack and Tom. I saw it when I was high school. No, I saw it when I was a kid. I watched it in my home, and I think the film that made me laugh is definitely the Tom always want to chase Jack, and every time they got failed. So it's really funny because I think that Jack is smarter than the Tom, and so I still remember a moment happened in the film is that in a pool, Tom wants to chase Jack, but he definitely failed because of he dropped into the pool and so
Okay. I'm going to stop you there. Carol. All right. So yeah. So you got a bit stuck there, Carol, and I'm not sure if you could have continued or not. Maybe if I gave you more time, you could have continued, but I don't know. I don't want to keep the other student waiting. And so, right, the main things, Carol, is I think you don't know you're mixed up in regards to the name of the film. So I don't think you're talking about a film called Tom and Jack. Does anybody know what? No, so it's not. I don't think it's Tom and Jack. Does anybody know what Carol is talking about? It's not Tom and Jack. It's Tom and. Anybody know? Yes, Don. I think you're talking about Tom and Jerry. Is that right, Carol?
Yeah, sure. Tom and Jack.
Mix up between Jack and Jerry. So that's one thing.
Sure.
Let's see. So then you're also kind of lacking the vocabulary that you needed to explain exactly what you wanted to say. So I think you need to improve your vocabulary a bit, Carol. I recommend my course 9 vocabulary. That would be a good course. It will help you to learn how to improve your vocabulary quickly. And let's see. And then just to talk about one grammar mistake, is that Jack is smarter than Tom. Jack is smarter than Tom. And so a little bit of a grammar mistake there, Carol. Any idea what that is? So it's not. Smart.
I know. Jerry is smarter than Tom. Is that correct?
No. So I'm not sure if it's a grammar mistake or a pronunciation mistake. How would you?
How would you say maybe was something? How would you say maybe was something? How would you say that?
So I didn't catch it because I maybe sound noisy.
Okay, 没关系。你比我聪明，英语怎么说？
Yeah.
How would you say that?
I'm smarter than you.
So I don't know if this is a pronunciation mistake or a grammar mistake. So maybe you're just, so the word is smarter Smarter.
Smarter.
Yep.
Smarter.
Yeah, and yours,
Okay.
what you're saying is like, I'm smarter than you. So I'm not sure if that's a grammar mistake or you're just not pronouncing the at the end of smarter. Anyway, it should be, I am
Okay.
smarter than you, or you are smarter than, or whatever. How would you say, let's see, how would you say, 他比我他个子比我高. How would you say that?
He's taller than me.
No, so it's the same mistake. Try again.
He's taller than me.
No.
Tall?
No. So, so I am tall. You are
tall than me.
no. So remember, smarter. So, 比如说我很聪明，但是你比我聪明。I am smart, but you are smarter than me. 我个子很高，但是你个子比我高。How do you say that?
I'm tall, but you're tall than me.
So you've got to right. So you've got to learn these words. So words like taller, smarter, smarter, richer, and richer, smaller. Okay, so yeah, okay. You've got to learn these words, Carl. These are very important words to learn. So go and find like maybe 100. If you go on to Google and you search the 100 most common adjectives in English, right? Search for the 100 most common adjectives in English, and then search for their what do you call? I think they're called comparative versions or whatever. Sophia is saying here, 比较级. I guess that's how you say it in Chinese. So go and search for those and learn them. If you don't know how to learn things like that, use Anki to learn sentences. Learn lots of sentences like the ones that that we practice here. 他个子比我高, 你比我有钱, or whatever. Learn lots of those sentences, and then you learn these words. They're very important. All right, Carl. Thank you for your answer. All right. You're welcome. Okay. Right. I'm going to get maybe one more student for this one. So I'm going to pick somebody at random again. And this time it's going to be number 6. Let's see. Okay. So number 6. Just turn on your microphone now. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time for the microphone to come on. So sorry about this. I think your name is Ben. Yeah, 我不知道有什么问题，但是有时候打开学生的麦克风，需要一段时间。我再尝试一下。好像没有成功。所以 Ben 我不知道是什么问题，但是我开不了你的麦克风。我尝试另外一个学生。所以我尝试7号。Yep. Okay. 他们都开了。Okay. Sorry, Candy, 你可以等一下。我先问 Ben.
Okay.
Hello, Ben.
Hello, I can hear you.
Good. Okay, Ben. All right. So, Ben, tell us about a film that you saw that made you laugh.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ben.
When I was 20 years ago, when I was 20 years ago, I ever watched the movie is Forrest. Come?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hello Ben， 我们听不到什么声音。
movie, and I think it's fun choice.
Okay Ben, okay, thanks. Sorry Ben， 我们基本上听不到你说话。你说的很轻，也许麦克风有问题，但是基本上听不到，不好意思。All right, Candy, I'm gonna go. So same question to you, Candy. So tell us about a film you saw that made you laugh.
The movie is Chaplin. When I was a child, I loved the movie Chaplin. I see the movie in my home. Why the movie give me happy? I think although life is very difficult, but Chaplin bring more happy. Finished.
Okay. Candy, 你考过雅思吗？
No,
你打算考？
I want to. 我打算考。
Okay. 你知道口语考试有3个部分吗？那个你已经知道吗？
Listening maybe.
No, sorry, Candy.
I don't know.
所以 OK 没关系。所以 Candy， 雅思英语考试有4个部分，就是 listening, reading, writing, speaking。然后我们今天练习的是 speaking。然后那个 speaking 口语考试有3个部分，就是 Part 1、Part 2、Part 3。我们现在练习的就是 Part 2，然后在 Part 2，你在 Part 2你要谈论那个话题，然后你要说2分钟的话，你要说满2分钟的英语，来回答那个你所拿到的话题。所以我们现在做的就是 Part 2。我觉得我们前2个学生，Candy 和前1个学生，你们好像要考雅思之前，你们真的要提高你们的英语基础。所以你们现在没有必要特别学习口语，你们现在要先把听力和阅读水平至少提高到6分，至少拿到6分，然后在阅读和听力达到6分以后，你可以开始练习口语，多练习口语，然后可以开始每个礼拜几次练习口语。但是我觉得你们都应该首先多听和多读英语，然后你可以比如说每个月做一个雅思模拟考试，然后衡量你的阅读和听力水平，然后那2个水平超出6分以后，可以继续练习听力和阅读，然后也可以开始练习口语。Okay, right, so let's move on to part 3. And before we do that, we're going to do our 3rd challenge of the day. And so for this one, I'm going to let you guys look at a picture. If you're in our class last week, you'll remember that I showed you 4 pictures and I got you to say the names of those 4 places. Here we've got not 4 places, but we've got 4 different types of entertainment in English. So these are 4 different forms of entertainment. And I want to know if you know how to say these forms of entertainment in English. So don't just give me the names of the things. So like the first one there is 3 Idiots. That's the name of something, but that's not what I'm looking for. It's the name of a movie. My question is, what kind of movie is it? The second one there is Friends. So what is Friends? And Friends is a what? The third one there, it's a man. You might recognize him. He's on a stage. What do you think he's doing? It's kind of related to the rest of them. And then the fourth one, we've got 2 women. It's obviously a kind of TV show. They're obviously on a kind of TV show, but what kind of TV show is it? So here we've got 4 different kinds of entertainment. They're all kinds of entertainment that make people laugh. But what are they? What are these 4 things? 所以你们再看4个图片，然后他们都是就是基本上就是4个可以在点式区间的，在点式曲线的跟就是在点式曲线的多人少的东西所以在英语如何描述这4个东西 ？OK， 已经有几个人回答，当然真的很快，所以他已经回答了。说 comedy movie, sitcom, stand-up comedy talk show. Okay, let's see what James said. James said comedy, sitcom, crosstalk, talk show. Sophia said film, TV series, talk show, TV talk show. Chris said comedy, sitcom, stand-up comedy, interview. And Julie said comedy movie, sitcom, stand-up comedy, TV talk show. Okay, so 已经有一些人回答对了。我要给其他学生再给其他学生一段时间。Wendy, a movie, a TV series, a talk show, an interview, and a movie, TV series, comedy, interview. OK， 所以我们 OK， 我看至少已经有2个人回答对。第一个回答对的人就是就是 Don 回答对了。Well done, Don. So Don, 3 Idiots, he is right. It is a comedy movie. So that is a comedy movie. You could also say a comedy film. And then so some people said a film, and yes, but my question was like, what kind of film is it? And you should say a comedy film. And then B, so B, as Don said, it's a sitcom. A few different people had different answers. So a few people said TV series, yes, but not exactly. A TV series is more like usually like a drama series, like something like Prison Break, for example. That's what we consider to be a TV series. So strictly speaking, I suppose Friends is a TV series, but the real word we usually use to talk about it is a sitcom. Friends is a type of sitcom. Sitcom is usually 25 minutes long, maybe 30 minutes long, and it's funny. It's a comedy. So that's what a sitcom is. Let's see. The third one, Don is right again. So that's stand-up comedy. And a person who does stand-up comedy is a stand-up comedian. So the person C there, that guy's English name is Joe Wang. He's from China. I can't remember his Chinese name, but he is a stand-up comedian and he's doing stand-up comedy. So a few other answers. Some people were saying crosstalk. No, crosstalk is like, it's basically Chinese stand-up comedy. It's like 相声. That's crosstalk. But what Joe Wang is doing in picture number, or in that C picture, that is not crosstalk. That is stand-up comedy. And then so then the fourth one, D, that is a talk show. So as Don said, a talk show. And yeah, some people say an interview. Okay, but the type of show it is called a talk show. And so anyway, I'm gonna paste you the answers. So here we have it. Oh shit, no, sorry. I've got the order wrong there. Sorry. So it should be. It should be like this. So yeah, A is a comedy, B is A is a comedy or a comedy movie, B is a comedy or a comedy TV show or a sitcom, C is stand-up comedy, and the person who does stand-up comedy is a stand-up comedian, and then D is a talk show. 所以我已经说了，那个 C 是 stand-up comedy， 不是 crosstalk。所以如何描述中国的相声如何描述？所以如果你看词典，他会把那个相声翻译成 crosstalk， 但是问题就是，如果你跟西方人说话，然后如果那个西方人没有去过中国，不了解中国的文化，他也不会知道 crosstalk 是什么类型的事情，所以最好不要说 crosstalk， 最好说 a comedy duo。 comedy duo or a comedy double act. 所以如果你说英语的时候，由于某一个原因要谈论相声，你那个最好的表达就是 a comedy duo or a comedy double act. Okay. All right. So that was part 3. So our first person to get that question right was Don. So I'm going to go back to Don for our part 3 questions. And so Don, I'm going to turn on your microphone now. So our questions here in part 3 are going to be about funny things and funny movies and stuff like that. Okay. So Don, are you ready?
Yeah. Yes, I'm ready.
Cool. Okay, Don. So why do some adults like to watch cartoons?
Why do some adults like to watch cartoons? I guess they may want to find back the memories in their childhood. They want to make them feel less stressed because cartoon is kind of a stress buster, which makes them giggle a lot, and even sometimes cartoon can prefer some good what can I say, some good actions that couldn't be performed in the real movies, Roman movies, and so that's
Okay.
I guess that's the reason.
Okay, cool. And do you think that we can learn anything valuable from watching cartoons?
Yes, we definitely can learn something valuable from the cartoon. Like I was fond of watching a cartoon named Rick and Morty. I always can learn something new, something special, and something related to my personal experience, which can help me to know about this world better, because it contains so much different philosophy in that cartoon, and it's really interesting, and could keep me watching it and to learn something new.
Thank you. So in general, do you think that teachers should try to make their students laugh in class?
Yes, I think I agree with that, because if the students in class laugh a lot by the content prepared by the teacher, they will be more appealing, more interested in that class, and they will have the motivation to learn, to concentrate in the class, to make them get a better academic performance. So I think it's quite important for the teachers to make the class laugh a lot.
Thank you, Don. Okay, pretty good job, Don. Well done. So that third answer was quite good. You had a good sentence in that third answer, and she said they will have the motivation to concentrate in the class. So some good vocabulary there, motivation and concentrate, and you put the sentence together well. There were no grammar mistakes in that sentence. So that was quite a good sentence. Your answer to the third question was pretty good as well in general. And the second question, was, can we learn anything important from cartoons? The problem with your answer was that you just talk about yourself and one cartoon that you like to watch. So in part 3 of the exam, don't talk about yourself or your own personal, personal things in your life. Always talk about things in general. So here, you should talk about general things that people can learn from cartoons, not just you and one cartoon that you watch. Also, you didn't really give any examples. So you said that you like that cartoon and that cartoon is interesting, but you didn't really even give any examples of anything specific that you learned from the cartoon. So the answer that you had most trouble with was the second answer. The first answer was pretty good, but then you had one time where you had trouble. So you said, I think that sometimes cartoons can perform some good actions that couldn't be performed in a movie. So I kind of know what you're trying to say here, but it's not perform. It's not perform. It's probably better to just say some things can happen. So
can happen.
Yeah.
Which cannot happen in the
exactly. Yeah, exactly. So maybe some things can happen in a cartoon that can't happen in a regular movie.
Okay, in the regular movie.
And that would be that. I think that's what you're trying to say there, in your first answer. Okay, so that was it for you, Don. Thank you. Good job. Good job getting the question right for our challenge as well. Well done. Okay, I'm going to get a couple more students. So first, I'm going to go to number 10. So Wendy, I'm trying to turn on your mic. Oh yeah, here it is. Hello, Wendy.
Hi, John.
Hello, Wendy. Hi. Okay, good. So Wendy, some more questions for you about this topic. I'm going to choose some different questions.
Okay.
So Wendy, in order to be a good leader, is it important to have a good sense of humor, in your opinion?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Sure. If someone wants to be a good leader, is it important for them to have a good sense of humor?
Yeah, definitely. I think a sense of humor is very important for being a leader, because as a leader, you need to connect every member of your group, obviously, and you need to have a very good relationship with all the members of your group. So a sense of humor will kind of bring all the group members together, and they will trust you, and they will think you are a very interesting person. So I think the words you say will be more convincing, and people will will be more willing to listen to you. And if you lack sense of humor, I think people will sometimes think your speech will be boring. So maybe they will reject you, or maybe they will be reluctant to listen to your words. So that's a waste of time. So I think that's why it's very important.
Thank you. Okay. Do you think laughing every day is good for people's physical health?
Yes, I can remember some research review that smiling is very important for people physical health. And yeah, I can still remember if you smile all the time, so you can keep a very good mood, your body will generate some incentives to keep you in a very healthy state. And so you get more concentrate on your work, and you get more positive feedback, and in return you get a very good result. So I think that's a very good cycle, yeah, and to encourage you to do better.
Okay, thank you, Wendy. Good job overall, especially your first two answers, Wendy. So your first two answers were very good. You spoke very fluently, you had very good vocabulary, and you didn't really make many mistakes in those first two answers. And so those were very good. I want to highlight a couple of things from your first two answers. So the first one was about, is it important to have a good sense of humor if you're a leader, or if you want to be a good leader? And you said, yeah, the words you say would be more convincing. Very good. So that's a very good piece of vocabulary there. So if you had a good sense of humor, the words you say would be more convincing. Yeah, so convincing itself, that's a good word, a good piece of vocabulary, and you use it well, and the sentence was grammatically correct, so well done. Then in the second one, you also had some good sentences, including this one. You said, they will be reluctant to listen to your words. They will be reluctant to listen to your words. That was good as well. So to be reluctant to do something. So you could say they will be reluctant to listen to your words. It might even be a little bit better to just say they will be reluctant to listen to you. That would be even better. But still, it was still a very good sentence and a good use of the expression reluctant. So the only question that you had a bit of trouble with was the third one. So the third question was, do you think laughing every day is good for people's physical health? Now, the main problem with your answer was that you didn't talk about laughing. You talked about smiling. And a lot of people so again, we talked about this earlier. So a lot of people get smiling and laughing confused. And in English, they're very different concepts. So you were talking about smiling and research that was done on smiling, but that's not what the question was. The question was about laughing. Also, a couple of little vocabulary mistakes in your answer as well. Like, for example, you said, you can keep a good mood. Or you said, you can keep a very good mood. So it's not keep a good mood. Any idea how you could say that?
Be in.
Yeah, good. Okay, you can be in a good mood. You could maybe even actually say, you can keep in a good mood, or you can stay in a good mood. Those would be okay as well. So you just forgot the word in maybe. And then another time you said, you can get more concentrate on your work. You can get more you get more concentrate on your work. So there's a grammar mistake there.
Yeah, get more concentrated.
Maybe.
You can concentrate on your work more.
Good. Okay, that's better. Maybe. Yeah. So you can say you can concentrate on your work more, or maybe you can concentrate on your work better. You can concentrate on your work better, or you can concentrate on your work more easily. Okay. But overall, really good answers, Wendy, especially your answers to the first two questions. So thank you very much. Cool. Okay, I'm going to get maybe one or two more students. So let me pick somebody at random. Let me get a number at random, and our first number is number 7. Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi, is your name Zoe? Yes, I can. Zoe.
Okay.
Is your name Zoe?
Yeah.
Okay, cool, right, okay. So Zoe, why do some adults like to watch cartoons?
Well, I think in today they have they have under a lot of pressure, so they need to have some way to refresh their mind, so they choose to back to their childhood, like watch some cartoon. So I think to some adults it's a good way to refresh their mind and
Thank you. Do you think that we can learn anything important from watching cartoons?
Well, I think they can learn a lot of spirit and like team spirit. In my childhood, I like to watch some cartoon about a lot of animals. They come from a country and to make some adventure. From that movie.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. So do you think teachers should try to make their students laugh in class?
I think teacher should make the students laugh in the class, because sometimes laughing is a good way for students to refresh their mind and have the motivation to concentrate in the class. I think laughing can help them to concentrate on the study better.
Thank you. Okay, thanks, Zoe. All right. Okay, Zoe. So, so all your answers are okay. You've got some problems that you need to take care of. So you keep using the expression "refresh their mind" or "refresh one's mind." So that expression doesn't really exist in English. So let me think of some better things to say, or maybe you guys can think. Can anybody help Zoe to think about some better things to say instead of saying refresh their mind or refresh one's mind? So Zoe, how would you say that in Chinese? That thought that you're trying to say. How would you say that in Chinese?
放松解压。
Okay, very good. All right, so there's a lot of ways we can say this in English. I wonder, does anybody know how she could say this? It's not refresh your mind, but there are many other things. And Mia has some good ideas. Yeah, so these are 3 different ones, so be careful with it. So one is relax. That's probably the best one. To relax.
Relax yourself.
No.
Relax.
No, not relax yourself. This is very important. It's just to relax. Not relax yourself. Just to relax. Okay. So that's the best one. And now Mia's other ideas are enjoy yourself and have fun. And so those are kind of different, Mia. Those are kind of like those are more like kind of one, and that's more like. So I think they're a bit different from what Zoe is talking about here. Shai is saying to take a relax. No, Shai, there's no such thing as to take a relax. It's just to relax. And there's some other ones to de-stress, for example. De-stress, that's another one. And to let's see, to relax, de-stress, and maybe to to re-energize. Let me just check the spelling of this, because this is a difficult word to spell. So you could say to relax, to de-stress, and to re-energize. And I think there's some more, but these are the main ones that I'm thinking of at the moment. And let's see, you could say maybe to calm down. That would be another one as well, to calm down. And so there's a few better ways to express that idea, Zoe. Let's see, some other things. In your second answer, you said they can learn a lot about, you said they can learn a lot of spirit. They can learn a lot of spirit. So no, you cannot learn spirit, and there's no such thing as a lot of spirit, really. And so what do you think, what are you trying to say? So not learn a lot of spirit, but maybe learn a lot of, any ideas how you could say this, Zoe? Because I'm not sure what you mean here. If you want, you can tell us in Chinese what you mean here, and we can figure it out.
Oh, I don't know how to say.
你中文你也不知道怎么说吗？ Okay, 那如果你中文也不知道怎么说，我就帮助不了你。So I don't know what you meant by learn a lot of spirit. That just doesn't make sense in English. Okay. Then this other problem with your second answer was just like the previous student, you talked about yourself. So you said, in my childhood, I liked to watch a lot of cartoons or whatever. So it should be I liked to watch. But also remember, in part 3 of the exam, Zoe, don't talk about yourself. Don't talk about yourself. Just talk about your opinions and your ideas, but don't, like, whether you like to watch cartoons or not, that's completely irrelevant. It is not relevant to the question. These questions are all about people in general, about the world in general. So don't use yourself as an example in part 3. In part 1, it's different. In part 1, all the questions are about you. But in part 3, all the questions are just about the world in general and people in general. Okay? And then the last thing, so the last question was, should teachers try to make students laugh in class? And you said a few times, teacher should. So a bit of a grammar mistake there. Zoe, any idea what it is?
Should.
So it should be teachers. Teachers. So remember, teacher is a countable noun, so it's teachers.
Teachers.
Don't forget. Yeah, exactly. Don't forget the S. The S is important. Teachers should. Okay.
Teachers.
Okay. Thanks, Zoe. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Zoe. Okay, you're welcome. All right. Okay, guys. Yeah, that's pretty much all the time we have for today's class. But if anybody has any questions, I'm going to take a few minutes to answer some questions before we finish today. So if anybody has any questions about preparing for IELTS, about learning English in general, about language learning in general, about any of my courses, my language learning courses, I'm going to give you a few minutes to ask questions. So 我们下课之前，如果有任何学生有提供的问题，任何关于准备雅思的问题，关于雅思口语写作、雅思的其他部分，或者关于学习英语的问题，关于学习其他外语的问题，都可以现在问。然后已经有一个学生 Chris 就想知道，in part 3, I also concentrated on myself, but the examiner tried to extend the questions for me and asked something like, but in general, how do you see this? Then I added the answer. Does it gonna affect my scores? And will it affect my score? Yes, probably, Chris. Because yeah, it's not good. So it's not good. But if after the examiner said that, if after the examiner kind of reminded you or corrected you and got you to talk about things in general, then if after that you talked about things in general, then that would be okay. But if every time he asked you a question, you just kept talking about yourself, then that would not be good. That would probably mean that your score would be taken down, because part 3 is all about testing your ability to talk about things in general. And in a foreign language, it's more difficult to talk about things in general than it is to talk about yourself. It's easier to talk about yourself than it is to talk about things in general. So part 3 is the most difficult part of the exam, and it's a time where the examiner wants to see if you are able to talk about phenomena in general and the world in general. So if you didn't do that, then yeah, you're not going to get a very high score. Sorry to tell you that. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Okay, let's see. James has a question. In part 3, should we present our viewpoints with simple explanations before giving some specific examples? I think James, you're probably thinking about this too much. I don't think you're going to have time to think about that carefully and specifically in the exam. In part 3, just listen to the question and answer the question. That's it. Just listen to the question, answer the question, and keep talking for at least 30 seconds or 40 seconds, and then the examiner will ask you another question. That's it. So you don't have time you shouldn't worry about how to organize your answer too much. Just listen to the question, try and understand the question, and answer the question. But anyway, to continue, in general, you should give some specific examples, but there'll be some questions where it's not really possible to give specific examples. But in general, if you can give specific examples, you should do that. But don't really worry too much about how to organize your question. Just remember, 1, it's very important to understand the question, so listen carefully. And 2, don't talk about yourself, talk about things in general. 3, keep talking for at least about 40 seconds, 30, 35 or 40 seconds. Just keep talking until the examiner stops you. And then if your English is pretty good, then you'll give a good answer and you'll get a good score. Candy is asking, can you recommend, sorry, skip there, I gotta find Candy's question. I think it was, can you recommend listening comprehension or something? Yeah, can you recommend listening and comprehension? I don't know what you mean. What do you mean listening and comprehension? What is listening and, do you mean listening comprehension? So Candy, I don't understand your question. Let's see, another student says, don't letting something consume and overwhelm you when we need release ourselves under a lot of pressure. 这句话正确？No， 不正确。不正确。然后我不知道你的不太清楚你的意思是什么。So don't letting something consume and overwhelm you. Maybe you mean we shouldn't let things consume and overwhelm us. Something like that. We shouldn't let things consume and overwhelm us. And then we need release ourselves. No, I think again it's relax. We need to relax when we are under a lot of pressure. We need to relax when we are under a lot of pressure. 所以你写的那两句话问题很多，有很多。Okay， 还有一个问题。I suppose that I need to pay attention on vocabulary, pay attention to something, not on something, pay attention to vocabulary and grammar. I think it is the main reason that restricted my performance in the part of speaking. Maybe, I don't know. That's not really a question. So please ask me some questions if you want. Candy says, I want to study. Okay, again, not a question. Wendy says, John, can I talk about 2-3 points for each question? Is it too long? Sometimes I want to expand my answer, but I worried about time. Don't worry about time, Wendy. Don't worry about time. That's the examiner's job. The examiner's job is to worry about time. You just keep talking. Keep talking. Don't stop talking until the examiner. Okay, here's what you do. Look at the examiner. When you're talking, look at the examiner. Keep talking. Then when you see the examiner go like this, when you see the examiner, then you can stop talking, because when the examiner goes like this, he or she will look down at his book of questions, and then he'll look up, he'll open, or he or she will open their mouths, and they'll go. Then that shows you that they're ready to ask another question. So just keep talking until they do that. Keep talking until they stop you. Keep talking until they want to ask another question, or until they say thank you. Don't worry about how to organize your answer. Don't worry about how, should I talk about 2 points or 3 points or 4 points? Don't worry about it. Just answer the question, just like it was in Chinese, just like you were talking to a friend in Chinese. If a friend asked you a question in Chinese, you wouldn't think, should I give a general statement at the beginning of my answer, and then think of 3 examples and list the 3 examples one after the other, giving an explanation of each. You wouldn't think like that. You just listen to the question and you answer the question in a natural way. So that's all you should focus on. Another question says, I want to try the part 3 with you. Okay, 你想跟我一起练习你的英语的话，你可以练习 Lin， 关注我微信公众号 Learn with John， 然后练习 Lin， 然后每个礼拜都有小组课，所以你可以 part 1, part 2, part 3都跟我一起练习。Candy, I want to improve my listening and comprehension. What do you mean comprehension? Do you just mean I want to improve my listening? I don't understand your question, Candy. But if you want to improve your listening, it's pretty easy. Just do a lot of listening. Just do a lot of listening, and especially listen to things that you're interested in. It depends on your level. So for students whose level is below like IELTS level 6, they should listen to easy stuff that's meant for students. For students whose level is above level 6, they should listen to native level stuff. So TV shows and podcasts and radio shows and YouTube videos and stuff like that. Just do a lot of listening. And so that's how you improve your listening. Do a lot of listening. See, Wendy. Another question. I don't have a good idea to describe the details in specific topics, especially in part 2. That's not a question. That's not a question. That's a statement. So I can't answer that. That's not a question. James, what should we do when we encounter speaking questions difficult to answer in the speaking test? Just try to answer them, James. Just try to. And you've got to try your best to answer them. There's no easy answer to that question. But if you get good at English, if you get your English up to level, say IELTS level 7.5, IELTS level 8, then there won't be any difficult questions. It will just be easy questions because your English will be good. So if you're coming across a lot of difficult questions, that's because your English isn't good enough. So you need to do a lot of reading, a lot of listening, some speaking practice until you get to the point where your English is really good. Then there won't be any more difficult questions. All the questions will be easy because your English will be really good. Candy, so by comprehension, she means 阅读. Candy, that's reading. It's not comprehension. 阅读 is reading, not comprehension. It's reading. So do a lot of reading. Wendy, if you want to improve your reading, do a lot of reading. If you want to improve your listening, do a lot of listening. And the good thing about doing a lot of listening and reading is that both of those things will improve your speaking and writing. So everybody has to do a lot of reading, a lot of listening. If you really don't understand how to learn a foreign language, then go into my course here. I've got a course here, which is 快速说外语. Do that course. Then you will understand how to learn a foreign language right there in the little school bag. And so let's see. And then okay, James is another thing that's not a question. Sorry, James, you've got to ask me a question before I can answer it. Okay, guys, I think that's enough. That's enough questions for today. So that is it for today's class. So thanks to everybody for coming. 然后不要忘记你们下课之前，请给我今天的这个直播打评，然后，还有呢，然后如果可以写一个评价，那就好。OK， 所以我们下个礼拜再见。我不太清楚是下个礼拜4或者礼拜5，所以关注我微信公众号，然后关注这边 CC Talk， 我们会提前说下个礼拜的直播是礼拜4还是礼拜5，我现在都不太清楚。OK，see you guys. Thanks very much.